Atari has been a company that has been very, very, very much in a weird and a lot of the times bad spot over the past couple years. They have not really had a huge breakthrough success. They used to be the king of video games. They also caused the huge downfall of video games in the 1982. Well, it looks like they want to get their shot at redemption, and so they did recently, and when I mean recently, I mean 3 years ago, announced their foray back into consoles. After a Kickstarter campaign, they are back up and running, and they are trying to get out a brand new console called the Atari VCS. A console that is advertised to play, stream, create, and connect. I'm going to be honest. This does not really look like it's going to be a great console, and I'm being honest. I am a little curious about it, and I'm going to say that right off the bat. I do feel curious about it. That being said, though, will I buy it? No. I generally think that it's going to be a cool deal. Not deal. I do think it's going to be cool, and honestly, if it was a little cheap, then it wouldn't be that bad. But they announced a MSRP a couple months ago, and it goes for $400 for the highest end version. $400 will get you either an Xbox Series S for $100 cheaper, or the PS5 without a disc drive is $400. And we do not barely know anything about the Atari VCS, and Atari has been out of video games for years. If they're asking $150 or $200, then it wouldn't be that offensive. And honestly, I would probably end up looking at them and doing research, and if they got good reviews, I would probably end up buying one just for the laughs of it. But while there's no reviews about it, it really, really is not doing great. It generally seems like a lot of people are kind of disappointed in it, but there are a couple things I do want to point out about it. I'm looking at their website right now, and it says that it is a brand new PC console hybrid. And as you can see right now, it says it's a console hybrid. Special offer. Save $10 off of the MSRP for $399.99 and get free shipping. Last chance to pre-order Atari VCS all-in bundle for $10 cheaper. I mean, okay. An icon reimagined, and here it has the play, stream, create, and connect. And the AMD Ryzen is definitely a solid computer. It's definitely a solid power. It's just that they're using an incredibly weak version of it. And honestly, that is not going to want a lot of people to pick it up. Now, subscriptions are required for the advanced services. And yes, at least I'll give it this. They do say it will have streaming videos, even if it is web-based. You will be able to watch and play and stream at 4K 60 for their highest end model, which, like I said earlier, is the 800 series. And at least they're doing that, and honestly, their social media, I'm being honest, could still be better than the Switch, considering that the Switch still does not have Netflix. Now, the controllers that they are advertising, some of them actually look pretty unique. They are doing a joystick, which makes sense, this is an Atari. The modern controller doesn't look that uncomfortable, but we could be wrong, and it could be insanely cheap. Atari Vault. Look, the Atari Vault is on Steam, so there's really no point in picking it up. And it's not even expensive. It's a $10. While it's a good emulator, it's $10. They got a PC mode, which allows you to install any OS, as well as Atari World, which does look cool. However, Steam did try something similar to this, and that did not work out. But there's a pretty big difference, as Steam was asking maybe over $600 with like 7-8 different variations of the consoles. I'll talk about that another time. And I will say that some of it does actually look really, really cool, but will it actually be something I'm going to buy? Probably not. It also advertises a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which should be something that, should be in any console. No excuses. Honestly, I definitely think that Atari is kind of digging themselves a grave. Atari has definitely been on the bad side of a lot of people recently. A lot of their games they have pushed out, especially over the past couple of years, have been really, really bad or have been really disappointing. Roller Coaster Tycoon World being one of the more recent examples of that. That game was basically broken at launch, and nowadays you can find it on Steam for around $4. And that same year, Planet Coaster released, and that game got really, really killer reviews, and absolutely destroyed it. Now, it's not just that, they did a game called Alone in the Dark, and it was really bad too, considered one of the worst games of the year it released in, which was 2015. And honestly, I do think that Atari has the potential with this console. It could be okay, and I will be an optimist, me being optimistic. I do think that it looks interesting, and it could be good. But I'm honestly still leaning the side that it's going to be bad. I mean, the Ouya back in 2013 was really, really, really not good, and that had a lot of potential too, and it was advertising kind of similar things. But I do generally think that there are some aspects about it that do at least interest me, even if they are the most insanely useless and bare-bones features. And I think it wouldn't be that big of a deal if the price wasn't so high. And Atari, take it from me, $400, no one's going to buy your console for that money. And I do think that they might have a couple of cheaper models, but at least right now, that whole $400 is stupid. At least that's what they're advertising on their website, but I do believe that they're doing a $200 and $300, which is worse. But honestly, while it gets some stuff right, I do think that this console is most likely not going to be great. Atari has definitely been one of the most revolutionary companies in terms of gaming, bringing gaming to the home console for a lot of people before Nintendo. But generally, there was a reason that they fell under. They failed to create compelling machines against Nintendo and Sega at the time. And it's because of that they no longer create, consoles, much like Sega. And while Sega would be cool to create a new console, it seems like they have other intentions and they don't want to. Atari is kind of just doing it, and I generally think that while it's interesting, I do not think it will end up being anything good. So, what is your guys' opinion on the new console? Do you guys think it's going to be good? Do you guys think it's going to be bad? I do actually want to know. And I want to have a conversation in the comments. And I did see a bunch of other things. And the weird thing that's weird, though, is this thing was announced 3 years ago as the Atari box. And for some reason, it's now coming out. It took this long. Either they've been trying to polish it up, or they just made it really, really, really bad and it's been a pain to develop for. So who knows? Maybe I'll be optimistic and they were trying to get a great experience to make sure that it would not fail, and so they didn't push out a rushed product. But I don't have my heads up, and I do actually think that it's not going to be great. Anyway, what's your guys' opinion on it? And who knows? Maybe I'll end up doing another video talking about the console when it's out, when people get their hands on it. But anyways, until next time, see you guys in another video.